Hey everybody, JTO here. Now I've just watched a video by I Am Serious, and I think he calls it The Struggle or The Fight. And in his video he includes a clip from a 1988 movie called They Live, which had a professional wrestler named Rowdy Piper in it. And in the movie, the premise of the movie is that the entire world is living under sort of a state of illusion and false reality, and that Rowdy Piper's character finds a pair of sunglasses which, when he puts them on, allows him to see past all these illusions to this dystopian kind of world, but then being able to see it, he's able to do something about it. So obviously there's some parallels there to the idea within the manosphere of, take the red pill, shed your view of the world which is based on illusion and face a more realistic reality, but one that has some unpleasantness to deal with. And in I Am Serious's video, he talks about the struggle to get other men, particularly male friends, to shed their illusion, to shed a fake view of reality that, although it may be comforting in the short term, is harmful because it's based on, falsehood. And that this struggle is important and you're actually helping these guys, but they don't want to shed their illusions. And in the movie version, there's this protracted fist fight between Rowdy Piper's character and this other guy, and they're just trying to get him to put on these glasses, and they punch each other repeatedly in the back alley. And I think that there is some reality to the parallel between this, struggle in the movie and the struggle to get guys in your real life to, embrace a realistic, we call it red pill view of reality. But there's also in there what I call the MRM Hangover. And that is that between the two, I guess, factions of the manosphere, which would be the men going their own way community or phenomenon, and the MRA, men's rights activist phenomenon or community or what have you, that the MRA side of this argument is that we have this set of very unpleasant and difficult problems in society that are impacting men, and we need to, as a society, wake up and do something about it, right? That's a difficult struggle, because when you approach this particular argument, you sound like a crazy person. Men are a diminished status social caste. They're not really valid as human beings unless they're of service to someone else. But the mainstream narrative that you're struggling against is that we live in a patriarchy, men are on top, men have the best of all possible deals, etc. So men buying into the mainstream narrative you're asking them to, first of all, accept a much less pleasant reality than the one they are presently swimming within. And in doing so, become kind of a social outcast, that they have departed from the mainstream narrative, that women, there's a war on women because you're not a good guy unless you're going to support women and all that stuff, right? So from the men's rights activist point of view, you're asking people to embrace a much more unpleasant reality and become something of a social outsider in doing it, and nobody wants to do that. You look like a crazy person. Now, I know that to a lot of people I look like a crazy person, but I don't look like a sad, crazy person. I'm having actually a really good time in my life. The change in perspective from trying to reform social problems that I see, and I see the same social problems. I see the suicide rate. I see men's mental health being neglected. I see men dying in the workplace. I see them being thrown out of their families on a whim. I see them being separated from their children. I see them being thrown into jail because they cannot make an arbitrarily high payment to someone else based on some antiquated view of permanent caretaking of women after they've been married. I see all the same problems that I saw when I was acting in the role of being a men's rights activist, but I don't want to try to get society to embrace any of these problems or fix them anymore. I think the answer is in changing ourselves. And that is not to become a better servant or a better, provider or, just keep your head down and don't complain about the pain. That is, leave social norms that exploit you and diminish the quality of your life. Leave social institutions, abandon them, that diminish you as a human being, that put your needs after other people's. Just leave all that stuff and realize that the society wants to put you on a treadmill and make you die for the convenience of others, and then just avoid all that stuff and be happy. You can still see all the same social problems, but you are solving those immediately in real time for yourself now. That's kind of the men going their own way approach to this stuff. And for an outsider, for someone still living in the blue pill world, you might still look like a crazy person, but you look like a crazy person having a really good time. And if it's not so crazy, if you don't sort of come off angry and disgruntled and sad and sort of downtrodden, if you come off as a person like writing your own narrative, or you've got a little something, a little spring in your step that they wish they could get a little piece of. So it's not join me in misery, it's hey, I've got something cool here and you want a piece of it, just, you know, come and join me. And believe me, I've only been self-identifying as strictly MGTOW, not MRA, for about a year. The change in my life is radical. The change is profound. In my interactions with other people, my standing amongst my friends, you know, I'm not trying to get people to buy into some big negative dystopian view of the world. People see a certain spring in your step, a little bit of, you've got something. There's a little mystery there, and that is an attractive factor. And then it becomes simply a matter of answering their questions without anger, without resentment, without going, oh, this is a very sad, difficult problem. Because it's a problem you can solve immediately in your real life, starting like right now. Rather than this incredibly difficult uphill struggle, which is the approach of the men's rights movement. So I think that the difficulty and the struggle, as described by I Am Serious's video, and I'm not saying he's wrong, it's just that there's a little bit of what I call the MRA hangover in there, that maybe he could just push it aside and have a much more productive outcome. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, have a lovely day.